Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to Inner Guide Q&A program, where we find the answers for our life's problems through the great teachings of our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. So one of our viewers have asked a question from us that how to stop the bad habits. How to stop the bad habits. So today from this Inner Guide program, we are going to learn and find how to stop a bad habit in our life. Before learning how to stop a bad habit, first of all, we have to learn and find what is a habit and how a habit is formed in our life. Normally, habit is something that we do again and again throughout a long time, and after doing it through a long time, it will become automatic. Right? After it becomes automatic, it does not require any effort to do. Right? There are so many habits in our life, either good or bad. There are so many habits. Right? So for an example, let's take early in the morning, you all get up and you go to your washroom and you take your toothbrush and put some toothpaste on it and you brush your teeth. Now, brushing your teeth is a habit. No one gets up in the morning and think, oh, I should brush my teeth today also. No one become sad or depressed of brushing teeth, right? Why is that? Because it has become a habit. Because from the little age, from the age that we were as babies, right, we brushed our teeth daily. And with the time, it became a habit. It became something that happens automatically. Normally, we get up early in the morning and we just go to the washroom and we brush our teeth. It does not require any effort, right? So, that is how a habit is formed. We do it for a long time and it becomes something that is very easy and well known, and it does not require any effort. So, there are good habits in our life as well as the evil habits. Now, our focus and our main target should be to reduce these evil habits. So what are the evil habits that we have? Normally, the main evil habit that we have is we become angry with people all the time, don't we? We become angry. We get angry with people who are in our families, who are in our workplace, right? Why that happened? Did you think why is that happening? Because we have practiced this anger for a long time and it has become a habit. Now, do you need any effort to be angry with anyone? Do you want to take any effort to be angry with any person? No, you don't. Why? It has become a habit, right? And there is another bad habit. It is the feeling jealousy of others. It does not require any energy. You don't want to think about it. It comes to your mind automatically. And the craving and the lust. When we talk about that, normally we have the habit of craving the things. And the lust has become a habit to our life. So, that means we have practiced these evil thoughts throughout a long time and it has become a habit. And that is how the evil habits are formed in our life. So how to break these habits? Well, there is only one way to do that. And that one way is to replace that evil habit from a good habit. Okay? That is the only way you can do that. Stop a bad habit. Instead of practicing that evil habit, in that time, you can practice another good habit. Suppose you get angry with a person, right? You are a person who gets angry all the time. You are a person who loses your temper all the time. So what you have to do, you have to understand about your habit. You have to understand about your situation, right? Now you have to think, I get angry all the time, right? The first step is to understand about your situation. Number two, you have to think that this evil habit, this bad habit is not good for my life. It will never make any good for my peacefulness or my spirituality. The more you think about that, right, the more you think about the disadvantages of your evil habit, your mind always try to reject those thoughts. Because you are thinking about the disadvantages of those evil thoughts, right? Normally when we see some disadvantages of a special thing or a person or whatever it is, normally we don't like to be with that, right? If you are going to the supermarket and when you're going to buy something, if you come across and if you see some disadvantages of buying that special thing, do you buy that? No, you don't. Right? Same as that, you have to think about the disadvantages of your evil habits. That is the second step. And then as the third step, you can bring out a good habit to practice instead of that evil habit. Suppose you get angry with people all the time. Okay? So what you have to do, instead of blaming others, right? Instead of blaming for the little mistakes of others, what you have to do, you have to practice to be silent, and you have to practice to spread love and kindness to them. And also you have to train your mind to forgive them, right? Sometimes we may get angry for little things, right? The fights and the troubles that they are going on in the family life or in the workplaces are for very little things we are fighting. Remember, if we cannot forgive the people around us, we will never live peacefully. Right? If you don't have the habit of forgiving, you cannot live peacefully, because we cannot expect the people around us to always to do good things and the things that we like. Right? They may do weird things. But if we cannot forgive and forget, right, you will always see the mistakes and the wrong things and the troubles that has done by the people around you. The more you see it, the more you will become distracted in your mind. So instead of developing that evil thought, you can develop a wholesome thought. It's like this. Now, there are two sides of our mind. There is the evil side and the wholesome side. Okay? Think these two sides as two animals. Okay? So one animal is very dangerous, right? And the other animal is very calm and quiet and serene. And it is very useful. So if you keep on feeding one animal, suppose you fed the dangerous animal, the more you feed that animal, the more that animal will be strong. And that animal, with the time, that animal will control the wholesome animal. Right? The problem with us is we are feeding this dangerous animal. Right? Instead of feeding the dangerous or evil side of our mind, what you have to do is just feed the wholesome animal. Right? If you feed the wholesome side of your mind, what will happen? It will start to develop. Right? When it starts to develop, it can overcome, it can control the dangerous or evil thoughts of your mind, without letting that evil thoughts to appear inside your mind. So what you have to do, just feed, always do and say the things and think the thoughts that feeds the wholesome side of your mind. Then with the time, that habit, that evil habit will be broken, and you will find that you always have a good habit instead of evil thoughts and evil habits. And that is how you break the evil habits in your life. So stop feeding the evil thoughts in your mind. Instead, feed the wholesome thoughts and make your life a peaceful one. To yet another video in Buddhist meditation series. In today's video, we are going to discuss about one of the most frequently asked questions in meditations. And what is that question? How can we stop feeling sleepy during the meditation? So this is one of the most frequently asked and one of the most common experiences in the meditation, and one of the most frequently asked questions from the meditation masters. How can we stop the sleepiness in the meditation? So remember, our great teacher Supreme Buddha said, the dullness and the drowsiness or sleepiness is a hindrance for the meditation. Hindrance in the sense, it's sort of like an enemy to the meditation, right? It disrupts your focus, it disrupts your concentration, and it decreases your joyfulness of the meditation. And also Supreme Buddha said, a hindrance will always decrease the wisdom of ourselves. So there are 5 hindrances, and out of those 5, the dullness and the drowsiness and sleepiness is also included. So how can we stop feeling sleepy during the meditation? And what we can do to stop this feeling? Well, there are several things that taught by our great teacher Supreme Buddha to stop feeling sleepy and to deal with the sleepiness during the meditation. First of all, we need to remember that one of the most important things that we need to develop within ourselves during the meditation to stop feeling sleepy is to be aware of our thoughts. Right? If you are not being aware of your thoughts, then the sleepiness will come inside your mind and it will take actions. Right? That is why you are continuing to sleep during the meditation. So the first thing that we need to develop to stop this sleepiness is to be aware of our thoughts. When you feel a little bit of drowsy and dizzy and drowsy during the meditation, then you need to be aware and you need to detect that thought. You need to tell to yourself, now I am feeling sleepy. Now I have to take actions. Right? So what we can do to stop and deal with this sleepiness? Number 1, Supreme Buddha said, first of all, change the perception of meditation. That is the first thing that we can do, right? For an example, if you are doing mindfulness meditation, let's say you become more mindful about your body and you are doing meditation, and with the time you felt sleepy and drowsy. Now you need to detect that thought and to be aware of that thought, and then you need to shift your perception of meditation. So if you're doing mindfulness meditation, then you can change it to breathing meditation. When you change your perception and when you change the focus of your meditation, it will take you away from the thoughts of drowsiness and sleepiness, right? So that is the first thing that you can do to change the perception of your meditation. You can practice another meditation like loving kindness meditation or gratitude meditation, compassionate meditation, and then after some time, after you're feeling okay with that, then you can come back to the normal meditation that you were doing. So that is the first step. And number 2, Supreme Buddha said, change your perception of meditation and start to think and consider about something that you have learned before. It is okay to change the perception and to shift away from the meditation that you are doing and think about something else for a little while to stop this sleepiness. Right? So think about something that you learned in the past, and you have to wisely consider about that. And when your mind is thinking about something, then it will distract you and it will take you away from the sleepiness, the thoughts of sleepiness. So that is the second thing that we can do. And the third thing, Supreme Buddha said, you need to recite something. It may be a chanting, it may be a verse that you have learned before. You need to chant it. Right? If your sleepiness is still there, then you can go for a chant. Right? Do a chanting for a little while, and then again, when you feel okay, come back to meditation. So this need the patience and this need the courage to do this. And also remember, don't enjoy the sleepiness than the meditation. That is why most of us are like feeling sleepy and fall into sleep while meditation. We enjoy the sleepiness more than the meditation. Remember, when you sleep, it is also a sort of relaxation to your mind. But if you meditate correctly, if you build up the concentration and tranquility in the mind from the meditation, you will feel more refreshing and more enjoyable and more relaxed from the meditation than the sleepiness. So don't enjoy your sleepiness than the meditation. Okay, there's another thing that you can do. That is, Supreme Buddha said, you can get up from the seat and you can do a walking meditation. You can walk to back and forth by thinking about the meditation. Right? When you walk and when you change your position of meditation, right, then it will also distract you from the sleepiness. So you can do the walking meditation. And still, if your sleepiness is there, then what you can do? Supreme Buddha said, pinch your ears and rub your limbs. When you pinch your ears and rub your limbs, the sleepiness will go away. That is another thing that we can do to stop feeling sleepy. And also, Supreme Buddha said, if you are still feeling sleepy, then get up from the seat and flush your eyes with cold water and go outside and look around the nature, be with the nature for a little while, and again come back and sit down and do the meditation again. And if you're feeling still sleepy, then what you can do? Supreme Buddha said, focus on a light, right? Look at a light and focus on it and take that image into your mind. Now, when we close our eyes, it normally feels like dark and we cannot see anything, right? Sometimes when we get used to the dark, normally it tends our mind to be sleepy. Then if you can imagine a light inside your mind, then your focus will be in that light. So you can stay focused to that light for a little while, and if you feel okay, then again, what you have to do, come back to the meditation again, right? And finally, this is the final thing that Supreme Buddha said us to do to stop sleepiness. Get up from your seat and think about the waking up time. I'm going to wake up from 30 minutes or 1 hour. Have a little nap, but be conscious and be aware of your sleeping time. You can have a little bit of a nap if you're feeling too much sleepy. But most of the time, many of the people who meditate, they choose the final thing first. Don't do that, right? There are many things that you can do, right? You can change the perception, you can recite, you can chant, right? And you can do the walking meditation, and you can flush your eyes with cold water. There are so many things that you can do to stop feeling sleepy. If you continue this with the time, remember, your meditation will be more successful. You will not feel sleepy anymore, right? Most of the time, the beginners of meditation feels sleepy. But when you dive more into that, and when you do it for a little while, you will feel okay, and you will feel more refreshing while doing meditations. So practice these things when you are doing meditation if you felt sleepy, and stay away from the sleepiness. So I hope this gave you a little bit of a light to your meditation. So practice these things and enjoy a perfect and a peaceful meditation. To be happy is every living being's right in this world. Everything that we do, everything that we say, why we are doing them, we do that to be happy. Just ask from yourself, why am I doing what am I doing? You can answer to yourself. You will find that the reason why I do everything in life to make myself happy. If I ask from you, why do you wake up early in the morning and just prepare some food and go out to work? To make yourself happy and to make others happy, isn't it? Yes. You gain happiness by making others happy as well. That you have to remember, right? So there are two types of happinesses in this world. The first type of happiness is called the material happiness, right? And also the other type of happiness is called the spiritual happiness. To call it a good life, to call it a perfect life, one must achieve these two types of happinesses in his life. One must experience both of these happinesses in their life, right? So from this video, I would like to share a wonderful teaching from the Buddha that explains about what are the types of happinesses that a person who is living in a household life, a family life, must achieve. Now, according to Buddhism, there are two types of lives. The first type of life is called the household life. That means the people who are living in a family life, right? Maintaining a family, living in a house, engaging in material pleasures and all the stuff, right? A household life. That means you, right? And also, there's this other type of life. It is called the monk's life, right? Which we can call them the homelessness life. That means we leave our houses, we leave our families and become monks, right? So that we no longer own a house. We no longer own a family. We no longer maintain a family, right? So the ones who renunciate the household life, the ones who leave the household life, they seek a higher kind of happiness, right? That doesn't mean that they don't seek any kind of happiness. We as monks, why we become monks is to seek the spiritual happiness. Now, when you become a monk, it doesn't mean you totally deny seeking the material happiness, right? But for a monk, there must be a limit for seeking the material happiness, because as living beings, we can't totally deny seeking material pleasure. As living beings, we must consume some sort of material pleasures in this world. But that seeking, that consumption of material pleasure must not disturb the peace and the spiritual happiness that a monk is seeking, right? So for monks, there are limitations for material happiness, okay? But it is less of the material happiness and more of the spiritual happiness. So in this teaching of the Buddha focuses on household life, a person who is living a family life. To call that life a perfect life, a good life, the Buddha says that there are 4 types of happinesses that a householder must achieve in their life, right? The first type of happiness, the Buddha called it Ati Sukha. What is it? Ati Sukha. Ati Sukha can be translated into English as the happiness of ownership. Now, what do you mean by the happiness of ownership? Buddha explains the happiness of ownership as one must work hard, put his time and energy and strive and earn money righteously in the correct way. Right? He must earn money, he must earn wealth in the righteous way. Now, what do you mean by in the righteous way? Is by you should earn money without harming anyone, without harming yourself and without harming the other people, without harming the society, right? If you earn money without harming anyone, that is the righteous way of earning money. Now, Buddha said, as a householder, you must be happy and you must enjoy earning money, right? Buddha was someone who did not say that you should not pursue happiness. You should not pursue material happiness. The Buddha said, if you are a householder, you must do that. That is your duty, right? So the Buddha said, strive hard, work hard, put your time and energy to what you're working on, and earn money righteously. That is a happiness that you can gain, right? When you have enough money to your life, then you can be happy about thinking that I own this wealth. This is my wealth. That is sort of a happiness that one can gain, right? That is the first type of happiness that Buddha said a householder must achieve in their life at some point in their life, right? That is the first one. The second type of happiness that Buddha taught for householders to achieve is called Bhoga Sukha. The Bhoga Sukha can be translated into English as the happiness of enjoyment. Now, first you earn money, right? Now you spend money and enjoy it in the correct way, right? The Buddha says that you have to spend money in a way that you should not harm yourself and you should not harm the other people as well, in the righteous way, right? So that when you spend money doing good things like helping people, helping your parents, with your money, with the money that you righteously earned, and when you spend that money on the people who you love, right, to make them happy, it gives you a happiness, right? It is a great happiness that one can achieve. That you have to achieve in your life. Okay, so the second type of happiness that Buddha taught to achieve is called the Bhoga Sukha, the happiness of enjoyment. The third type of happiness that Buddha taught us to enjoy in the life is called the happiness of freedom from debt. That we called Anana Sukha. Anana Sukha is the happiness of freedom from debt. Now, when you are free from debt, let's say you don't have any loans or any debt to pay, right? You're financially free. Then how much freedom that one can feel, right? You feel freedom, you feel a happiness that I'm no longer in debt to anything, right? I don't have any loans to pay, I don't have any debt to pay, so I'm financially free. That is a happiness that a householder must achieve in their life, right? That is a great happiness that one must achieve. The freedom, financial freedom, right? This is the third type of happiness. And then the fourth type of happiness, this is the most important thing. This is the most valuable happiness that a householder must achieve in their life, according to the Buddha. Buddha said, the fourth type of happiness is called Anavajja Sukha. Anavajja Sukha means the happiness from blameless life. Now, what do you mean by a blameless life? The Buddha says that you have to do things, you have to say things, you have to live your life in a way that you do everything with a good heart, with a good mind, with a wholesome heart, right? When you spend your life as a good-hearted person, as a good person, as a wholesome-hearted person, right? It gives you a bigger happiness, bigger enjoyment, thinking about who you are. That is the most important thing, because all the other material happinesses, right? All the other three material happinesses, it can give you happiness, right? I don't say that it cannot give you happiness, but if you did not have this happiness, anavajya, if your heart is complaining who you are, what you do, right? If your heart is regretting about who you are, then the other things doesn't matter, right? What matters the most is how you live in this life, right? At the end of our life, the most important thing that we can be happy about is how we live this life, how much love we give to other people, right? How much we help to other people, how righteously and how correctly we lived our life. So the Buddha said, you must achieve this happiness as well, right? So these are the 4 happinesses that a householder, one who is living in a family life, spending a family life, must achieve. So I hope this video and this teaching from the Buddha gave you a little light to your life. So I wish you all, may all of you be able to achieve all of these happinesses in this very life. Namo Buddhaya.